A waitress served a man coffee. That's all it was, one quiet cup. But when her boss saw who she served, he screamed, fired her, right there in front of the whole diner. People cheered, phones came out, cameras rolled. She thought she lost everything. What she didn't know, the man she served wasn't just any customer. He owned the company. And the next day, he came back, not for coffee, but for justice. A woman, a diner, a customer she wasn't supposed to serve. What happened next? It wasn't just unfair. It was unforgettable. Let's go back to the moment it started. Orders piled high. Plates clattered. Carl barked from the back. Maria hustled from table to table, dropping checks, pouring coffee, wiping spills, fighting to keep up. That's when she saw him, a black man, waited at the counter, quiet, patient, not bothering anyone. The whispers started fast. Doesn't belong. Not tonight. A regular laughed loud enough for others to hear. Maria tightened her grip on the coffee pot. She knew where this was going. Carl stormed out, eyes locked on her. Don't serve him. Maria froze. Why not? Carl snapped. Because I said so. Leave it. The man sat still, staring at the menu. Didn't flinch, didn't speak. Maria moved anyway. She filled a cup, set it down in front of him. Carl's face twisted. His voice rose, sharp and cutting. Maria, come, now! The diner went silent. Fork stopped mid-air. A couple pulled out their phones. Maria's chest pounded. She looked at the man. He slid a folded slip of paper toward her. 3 words. Thank you, watch. Maria's eyes darted back to him, but he didn't explain. Didn't even look her way again. Watch. Watch what? Her pulse kicked. Was it a warning? A threat? Or something else entirely? Carl's voice roared again. Now! Every eye turned. The man didn't move, didn't blink. Maria's shift had just changed, and so had her life. Carl charged down the aisle, clipboard smacking against his palm. You think this is a game? His voice cracked across the diner. Maria stayed planted by the counter. He's a customer. I served him. A woman in the next booth snickered. Guess she wants to get fired tonight. Another regular shouted. Carl's right. Don't need his kind in here. The man at the counter kept sipping his coffee, calm, watching.
Carl jabbed a finger at Maria. You cover his bill, out of your check. A man in a suit near the window stood up. Hey, come on, Carl. She's just doing her job. The diner turned. Carl's head snapped toward him. You want to pay his bill too? Be my guest. The man hesitated, then slowly sat back down. Carl smirked, scanning the room like he had just won a battle. Maria's hands shook, but her voice stayed steady. Fine, I'll pay it. Carl smirked. Oh, you'll pay, and then you're done here. A few customers clapped. One man even raised his phone higher, recording every second. Maria's chest burned. She could have walked away, but the note in her apron pocket pulsed like it was alive. Watch. She set down another cup, refilled the man's coffee. Her hands moved fast, bold, defiant. Carl slammed his clipboard on the counter. Plates rattled. That's it! You're done! Pack your things! The diner split in two. Some cheered, About time! Others shifted uncomfortably, eyes darting, unsure. Maria looked straight at Carl. You're firing me because I served a man coffee. Another waitress, Susan, stepped forward, arms crossed. Carl's right. You always act like you're better than the rest of us. Maria spun. Better? I'm the one covering your shifts when you walk out. Susan smirked. Yeah, well, at least I know how to keep my mouth shut. Maybe learn that lesson before you drag the rest of us down with you. Carl grinned wider. With every word, Susan handed him more power. Carl sneered. No, I'm firing you because you don't listen. The black man slid his card across the counter. Not a crumpled bill, not loose change, a sleek black card that gleamed under the fluorescent lights. Maria's breath caught. Carl froze, then covered it with a laugh. What's that supposed to prove? The man said nothing, just paid, signed, stood.
Carl leaned in, taunting. Maybe next time you'll eat somewhere you can afford. The man pocketed the receipt. His eyes cut to Maria for half a second. No smile, no nod, just that steady gaze again. And then he walked out. The bell above the door clanged, sharp and final. Carl spun back to Maria. "Get your stuff. You're finished." The crowd buzzed. A few shouted, "Good riddance!" Others kept filming, whispering like they'd just witnessed blood in the water. Maria stood frozen, her apron heavy, her throat tight. She didn't know it yet, but she wasn't the one on trial. Carl's voice carried through the diner like a siren. "You're fired, Maria. Right here, right now." Laughter burst from a booth near the window. A man clapped slow, mocking. "Shoulda kept quiet, sweetheart," another shouted. "Boss man's right! Get her gone!" Maria's throat burned. She yanked off her apron, slapped it on the counter. "You think humiliating me makes you strong?" Carl grinned wide, soaking in the cheers. "No, following orders makes me strong. You're weak. You can't even follow one simple rule." Phones tilted higher. Customers leaned forward. The diner had turned into a stage, and Maria was trapped under the spotlight. She grabbed her bag from under the counter, hands trembling. "All this over a cup of coffee?" Carl stepped closer, voice low enough for only her to hear. "Not coffee. Control. You don't get to challenge me." Her chest tightened. For a split second she thought about begging, just for the paycheck, just for rent, but the note burned in her pocket. "Watch." She lifted her chin. "You don't own me." Carl's grin cracked. He snapped. "Get out!" The crowd erupted, some cheering, some booing, all loud. Maria turned, pushing through the noise. A coworker caught her arm. Jamie, the busboy, his whisper barely cut through the chaos. "Don't cry. That man? He's somebody. You'll see." Maria blinked. "What are you talking about?" But Jamie let go, backing away, eyes darting like he'd said too much. Maria stumbled out into the night air, breath shaking, bag clutched tight. She made it to her rickety old car before the tears came. The engine coughed twice before sputtering alive. Maria gripped the wheel, praying it wouldn't die on her. Her phone buzzed again. This time, an email subject line glared back at her. "Final eviction notice." She blinked hard, swiping it away, but another notification followed. "Utilities past due. Shut-off scheduled." Her chest tightened. She hadn't even told her mom yet. She couldn't. Not when her mom already worried she was one step from the streets. Losing this job meant the lights going out, the rent unpaid, and the eviction notice on her phone becoming real. Maria pressed her forehead to the steering wheel, whispering, "What did I do?" Inside the diner, Carl strutted back to the counter, chest puffed. "That's how you handle disrespect," he barked to the staff. The regulars cheered, raising their mugs. But outside, 2 blocks away, the black man sat in the back seat of a parked car, phone pressed to his ear. "Yeah," he said quietly. "She's the one. Tomorrow, make it happen." The next morning, every employee was ordered to show up early. Carl strutted around the diner, straightening menus, barking at staff. "Corporate's here. Eye sharp, mouth shut." The staff lined up by the counter, some nervous, some smug. Carl stood tall, rehearsing his fake smile. Carl marched across the floor, clapping his hands. "Today's my day, people. Corporate's been sniffing around for a new district manager, and I'm first in line. So when they walk in here, you stand straight, smile, and back me up." He smoothed his tie, grinning like the diner already belonged to him. "By next month, I won't just run this store, I'll be running half the state." A few staff members chuckled nervously, others just nodded, too scared to disagree. The front door opened. The same black man from last night walked in. No t-shirt, a sharp suit, a company badge clipped to his jacket. The room froze. He scanned the staff, calm and steady. "Good morning. I'm Marcus Reed, Regional Director. For the last 2 weeks, I've been visiting locations undercover. Yesterday, I sat here." Carl's fake smile cracked. "Sir, listen, Marcus raised a hand. Silence fell. "I saw how customers were treated, I saw how staff were treated, and I saw what happened to a waitress who showed simple human decency. Maria wasn't on the schedule. She showed up anyway, clutching her bag, ready to beg for her job back if it meant paying rent." Marcus's eyes landed on her. "Maria, step forward." The staff shifted, whispering. Carl's face went pale. Maria stepped out, heart pounding. "Sir, I was fired." Marcus nodded. "Yes, and that's why I'm here." He turned back to Carl. "You humiliated her for doing her job, for serving a customer, for serving me." Gasps rippled through the diner. Carl stammered. It was a misunderstanding." Marcus cut him off. "No, it was recorded. Cameras don't misunderstand." He pulled out a tablet, pressed play. Footage from the night before lit up the screen. Carl barking orders, Maria standing her ground, the entire diner watching. Carl's voice from the recording echoed in the room. "Don't serve him, you're finished." Marcus shut the tablet. His voice dropped, sharp and final. "Carl, you're terminated. Effective immediately." Carl's clipboard slipped from his hand. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. He grabbed his coat and stormed past the staff, muttering curses. Susan shifted uncomfortably, arms still crossed. Marcus's eyes flicked to her. "And you," he said, voice calm but cutting, "you cheered him on while he tore someone down." Susan's smirk vanished. I was just—" He cut her off. "You were just showing me who you are." The staff turned. Some looked at her with pity, others with disgust. Marcus's voice dropped lower. "You'll keep your apron, but from today, you answer to her." He nodded toward Maria. Susan's face drained of color. She lowered her head, muttering something no one could hear, before slipping back into the line of staff. Marcus turned back to Maria. "You stood up when it cost you everything. That's leadership." He held out a folder. "You're the new floor manager. Starting today." The staff broke into applause. Some clapped slow, ashamed. Others nodded with respect. Customers nearby leaned over booths to watch. Maria's chest shook. I don't know what to say." Marcus smiled faintly. "Say you'll run this place better than he ever did." Maria's knees almost buckled. She had walked in ready to beg for scraps. Now the entire diner clapped as if she had just won. Carl shoved the door open, storming out. His voice cracked. "This isn't fair!" Marcus didn't even look at him. "Fairness," he said, turning back to the staff, "is exactly what this is." The same customers who had laughed at Maria the night before now leaned over booths, trying to shake her hand. Some mumbled apologies, others just stared, ashamed. Maria swallowed hard, eyes burning. "Why me?" Marcus's voice was calm but firm. "You weren't hired for kindness, but kindness is why you're still here. Leadership starts where fear ends. You showed me that." Maria gripped the folder tight. For the first time in months, she felt steady, not begging, not scrambling, standing. Marcus looked over the staff. "Let this be a reminder. The way you treat people when you think no one's watching, that's who you are." The room went quiet. Maria exhaled slow, the weight lifting from her shoulders. Last night she lost a job. Today she gained a future.